you raise your standard when you work with friends and family.
Dude, I totally agree with that.
So like when you say, oh, my cousin, wants new insurance.
Yep.
There's such a demand, a responsibility.
Responsibility is a good way to put it.
To try to deliver for that person.
Right. Welcome to the podcast dedicated to real estate, insurance, and building your business. Join us as we take you along our own business building journeys with additional wisdom from our network of local and national experts. Welcome to Bricks and Risk. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bricks and Risk. I'm Timmy G.
And I'm Sean Mooney, Moonee, all caps, no trick spelling.
All caps specifically and no exclamation points.
All caps, no trick spelling.
I love it, man. All right, dude. What are we rapping about today?
So we just recently had Bob Burg on the show.
Did.
And he's the author of The Go-Giver. And his book is a business parable.
Yep.
And it's a great read for everybody out there.
Just real quick, because obviously if you're a regular listener, watcher of Bricks and Risk, you know already that Sean's the better man.
As the people know and have voted.
Sean reads more books.
Still, can we put up a poll inside this episode and vote for your favorite side?
Still, if you remember from talking to Bobby, I actually read this book. And dude, it's awesome.
I think your exact words were, I've read one book in my life, Bob, and this is the book that I've read.
Be like, Bob, if I read the Cliff's Notes, is that equal to actually reading the book?
Is it Cliff's Notes or Cliff Notes?
I think it's Cliff's Notes.
Dylan, I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it is Cliff's.
Check it.
No, Tim and I go S.
Check it.
Or,
we actually used to get paperback Cliff's Notes back in our day.
Oh yeah, the little yellow and black ones.
Yellow weird things. I'm like, what the hell? This is what you read.
How do you think I graduated from college?
This is what you read if you can't read.
Shakespeare 400 level. I mean, come on. How do you think I got through that?
So what do you think about talking with Bob?
Bob was great.
Dude.
I mean,
unbelievable.
What he delivers in a 30-minute clip is just a lot of value. A lot of stuff that you can take.
Yeah.
And I think it's like he talks on a level that is like someone who has like sales teams.
Yep.
Where they, where I would want to get buy-in from my team and kind of direct them. And I love how he was like, I'm going to try to persuade you.
Yeah. Not convince, because he said convince as like a Latin root, I believe, for like conquer, which was very interesting. It's like, whoa, that's pretty messed up.
Well, and it was similar to Jeff West being like, you don't talk politics because you're not going to persuade someone from a political leaning. So it's
great example. Great episode.
Kind of both that way.
Yeah.
But I think he was great. I think that what hit home with me is a lot of what he talks about is both you and I. And number one, how we try to run our businesses, right? We try to deliver value for our clients.
Yep.
I think that that's one of the hallmarks for both of our businesses.
Totally.
And I think we both subscribe to the over-deliver mentality.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that I try to reinforce with my team.
Mm-hmm. One thing that's, not to interrupt, but one thing, so if you're unfamiliar with The Go-Giver, it's a business book. It's been considered one of the best business books of all time.
What was it, over 1 million copies
sold? Yeah, like 1.25 million copies sold. And it's really cool. So parable style is really like they're telling a business story, but they're using context from what Bob had from his experience in business, which are, the laws of success, the stratospheric, whatever the official name is. Again, not a great reader. But anyway, so one of the things we talked about with Bob specifically that really hits home in the Go Giver is relationships and building relationships. And we were just rapping before we did this, and you were telling me about how you introed someone
Oh yeah.
to a relationship.
Yeah.
It was something like a paper convention in Germany, which sounds like the most exciting place on earth.
Osterbergen.
Like, how can I get a ticket and go? Because I'm just like, holy crap, I need
think
to be a part
we
of that.
could probably go next year.
All right, go.
Dusseldorf. Is that a town? You've been there?
Yeah, Dusseldorf.
Dusseldorf.
I haven't been to Dusseldorf, but we could show up with paper tuxedos.
Good starting point.
We were like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
So talk about that story real quick.
Yeah. And so before I begin, it's just like you and I like to always connect.
Totally. We're both big connectors. That's a fact.
Like we like to connect to try to help people.
Yep. 100%.
Who in our network, and one of the things I do for someone that were to come to me like, hey, I'm trying to do this, or like, hey, go into my LinkedIn page.
Yep. I say that all the time.
Look at my contacts.
Yeah.
If there's someone that I can connect you with that's going to like help you, let me know.
Let me know.
Let me know.
Yeah.
So I was out one night with a friend of mine who
Pounding beers.
Kevin Mall from LaSalle High School, a friend of mine.
So pounding beers.
Yeah. But
yeah.
But we're both GF, so we don't pound beers.
Okay. Yeah. You're pounding Tito's.
Stateside Orange.
Nice.
Kevin.
Okay.
And we were just talking.
I'll put you on your ass.
And rapping. Yeah. Rapping about like, life or whatever. And we came up to the point where he's like, oh, I'm by the way, I'm going to be away. I have to go to Germany for this paper convention. And I was like, oh, tell me more,
Right.
paper convention.
Ooh.
Dusseldorf.
Whoa.
This time of year.
Germany. Okay. I'm trying to contain myself.
Slow down.
Finish the story.
So he was telling me about it, and I was like, asking questions like, oh, this, that. And I said, oh, do you ever deal with Vista Print? Because I know the print
Monster company.
Yeah. And actually one of the companies, one of the original vendors that I used when I was like,
Me too.
yeah.
We got all of our business cards done at Copper Hill through Vista Print.
Business cards, letterhead, paper.
Yeah.
I mean, they've even done embroidery and print for stuff that we've done. So he's like, well, it's funny you mentioned that. He's like, we've used them like one time in the past, but it's like an opportunity that we would love to like.
It's like a fortress, basically. It's like, how do I even approach someone at Vistaprint if I don't really know anyone? Or I don't have like an opportunity to meet someone, let's call it.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, my friend, Sean Quinn.
Quinn,
who doesn't like to pound beers at all.
At all?
Nope.
Been on a road trip with Quinny before. It was awesome.
North Carolina. Circa 2000.
Oh, that trip. It'll live in infamy.
So Vistaprint, I said, oh, my buddy Quinny works there. Maybe I can introduce, maybe it turns into something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So reach out to Quinny. Hey, my buddy.
He's like, who are you?
Yeah. Oh, this number was blocked.
It's like, I know we went to high school together, but remind me of your name again.
Yeah.
I thought this number was blocked.
Yeah. So his secretary must have
Right.
it.
I've been asked by Mr. Quinn. Keep going.
So I reached out, I said, hey, my buddy Kevin Mall, he's got a printing company, does, print equipment, He's going to be in Germany for this paper convention.
For the paper tuxedo convention.
Yeah. I said, are you going to be there? And he said, nah, I'm going to be traveling over here, but I'll have a team there.
So he wasn't even going to be there.
No.
Okay. That's interesting. Keep going.
Yeah. Or, said basically, oh, I'm not going to be there, but I have a team that will be over there, for this world's biggest, convention, print convention.
Right.
Whatever.
Paper geeks.
He's like, why? And I was like, oh, my buddy's going to be there. He's trying to network, trying to meet people. And then, I just thought of you. Maybe you'd be there and go pound liters.
Do when you're walking in, I'm going to paint a picture. Do you walk in and they have like the paper all folded up and someone's sitting there with like the scissors, like doing all these moves and then just
Like the snowflakes. So he said, just send me his information, maybe I can connect and then, put him in touch with some people from, my team. And so I did that,
So you gave his info to Quinn.
Yeah.
And then Sean Quinn put, I guess, matched up some people or just said like, hey, what's up, man? I'll let my team know you can connect any which way you want.
Hey, I have no idea how
he
it
like
went down.
maybe helped him like connect the dots.
We have a booth here. We have a team here.
Exactly.
Whatever transpired.
Drop my name. Yeah, something like that.
I don't even know.
Okay.
Cool. So it happened like a month ago or so. And just a response back from Kevin was like, dude, this is awesome. I can't believe this. This is cool. Like a home run. But I think it just goes to show like the more you try to be that go-giver, mindset in business.
Yep.
I think that trying to start from a position of where you want to help people and deliver value and broaden their network and connect people on a network.
Yeah.
I just think that you and I have done it that way.
Yeah.
And I just think that long term for business.
As Bob had put it before on another podcast, because he's been a guest on a ton of shows, he had his own podcast called the Go Giver Podcast. It hasn't been running for a few years, but he's got over 100 episodes. So if you're looking for some content, check it out.
Stuff. Yep.
And when he was talking about the Go Giver way, he calls it, like this way of not only doing business, but also living your life. Like this is a way of life. This is how we are in life.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that, like, recently, remember, here's a great story. So I recently connected with one of my old agents and I hadn't seen him in a while. When I shifted my business to a team away from the partnership I had at Copper Hill, because that was ending. And he was one of the people who reached out, was like, yo, man, we haven't connected in a while. I see you got a podcast. Like I do podcasts. And I haven't seen this guy in probably 8 years, let's say. But he was one of my agents at Copper Hill. Great guy. So we meet for coffee recently because we're just like, let's just network. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's connect. Like, it's just always good to connect with people, especially people who want to connect. People will reach out and just say, you want to catch up? It doesn't even matter what the reason is. And so we catch up. I drive all the way to Jersey. We grab coffee. We're sitting there, we're BSing. We're talking about the podcast. And he was like, well, I just talked to Sean the other day. And I was like, you know Mooney? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, how? He's like, I think you gave me his name years ago. He does all my insurance. I was like, no shit. And he's like, yeah. And it's like, that's just like a perfect example of how to run your life as well as your business. Like when you look at things this way, your business and your life kind of run parallel to each other.
Well, it's hard to be two people.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically like the person you are in your personal life, like how you live your life, how you treat people, the relationships you have, your friends, your family, like business, whatever, is a direct correlation also, I find, to how I run my business. I just look at it like the same way, because sometimes I get people that are like, you work with all your friends and family, how's that? And I'm like, it's great because I have a relationship with them. I have trust. We know, like, and trust each other. And when I do my job and help people buy a house, sell a house, lease a house, buy an investment property, whatever they're looking to do, it's no different than treating people in my life well, treating my friends and family well. And it's just being honest about who you are and what you're trying to get after. Because I think if you're only focused on dollars and cents, and this is another thing we talked about with Bob, and he said there's a difference between price and value. Price is money. You look at everything, oh, I'm buying some on Amazon. This one's 50 cents cheaper. I'm going to go with that. But it's got 5 reviews. And it's 3-star. And this one is 50 cents more, and it's got 500 reviews, and it's 4.5 stars. It's like there are some people who will save that money and just say, just give me the lowest price. Just give me the lowest price, which I get. It's not to say it doesn't make sense. But when there's value involved, like if you value someone for what they do, what they bring to the table, and if you already have a relationship with them, then you value that, it just makes the experience that much better. Because you work with friends and family.
Well, here's another way to go about it that I would say is that you raise your standard when you work with friends and family.
Dude, I totally agree with that.
So like when you say, oh, my cousin, wants new insurance.
Yep.
There's such a demand, a responsibility.
Responsibility is a good way to put it.
To try to deliver for that person.
Right.
That they're not going to get that level of service from anyone else.
Right.
And so a lot of people may look at it like a downside because, oh, what if it goes wrong?
Right.
And so that's one way of
that's a real feeling. That's an anxious feeling. Like everyone gets anxious.
Yeah. And so you can have that mindset as to,
right,
what if it goes wrong? What if this? What if that? But there's another mindset, another approach that what if I really deliver for this person?
Yeah.
What if I exceed all of their, wants, needs, desires for this business?
Yeah.
And it is a responsibility that I take on. I mean, I try to do it with as many clients as
there possible. Are limits,
but when
nothing's 100%.
When it's a friend, a family member, even a referral. Yeah. I mean, there's such an onus that we go into that with. All right, we got to really be on our A game with this particular person, and so I think that there is an upside with dealing with friends and family that you and I can freely, and we're never going to win everything and we're never going to be able to do, like, I get that.
Yeah.
That's totally there. But I think that people value that.
Totally.
When you try to deliver that, I think that, speaks volumes about how you conduct business.
I mean, it's like a good way to put it. It's like you're kind of like amplifying someone's happiness in that transaction because they came in. Again, most people are like, hey, I need an insurance quote. You're not expecting much. You really aren't. You're kind of almost like, oh, how's this going to go?
The bar is low.
Hey, real estate, very low bar as well. Oh my gosh, who am I going to get? What are they going to be like? Are they going to convince me? Are they going to push me into a deal?
Well,
that doesn't make sense.
So it opens the door.
Yeah.
It opens the door for you to be able to deliver.
Exactly.
It's
an opportunity.
For you to stand out. Like, you know how many emails I've gotten back? Oh, wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
Like, blown away. Like, I had literally,
let me see. Pull out your droid. So you just, let's see.
It's the razor thin model. So it's like one of those small.
Hey, everyone. This is Tim, your favorite Bricks and Risk co-host. But don't tell Sean. I hope you're enjoying this episode, and I'll get right back to it in a moment. Our audience grows through word of mouth, so if you would please take a moment of your time and give us a review on the platform you're on, that would be fantastic. Please also help spread the BNR word by sharing your favorite episode with a friend. We greatly appreciate your time and trust. Now, back to the show.
I was talking to Justin Heath the other day, and he said, "Hey,
what's up, Justin?"
He goes, "Can you take a look at my insurance for me personally?" He's like, "I've been with this guy who's a friend who won't get back to me." What? He goes, "It's been 3 weeks."
Whoa.
And I'm like, "Yeah, like like here, send this, do this," and it's like, and so I just think that, like, we talk about that little extra, that little bit more can blow people away.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. You are it's focus, it's mindset. Like, you are focused on that. Like, when you started your business, you started in like this little broom closet, when you cut the desk off, you're
a phone.
Yeah, you're bringing your lunch. That's like
the name of my
phone had one of those little foam things on it, so you could take calls like this. Like that's how you were rolling, because that didn't matter. it wasn't about having this really nice, shiny office where you could impress people with it. You knew day one when you started Mooney Insurance Brokers, this doesn't matter. What matters is how I treat people, how I handle my business, how I conduct myself. And most of that is done over the phone, on email, text, all sorts of ways. Some of it's done in person.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Your focus day one was on that. And look at the organization you have today. When I got into real estate 15 years ago, and I'm like 30, so I just had a career change. I got laid off, which was brutal. So, I got bruised a little bit, got up, dusted myself off and said, you know what? I think I'm going to do well with this because I look at it that way. I think people will want to work with me because I have a respect for the relationship and a respect for customer service. Like those were just paramount to me. And I knew there were people in my industry who didn't give a shit about either of a lot of people. They're just like writing deals. I made all this money. That person's never going to work with me again. I'm like, I don't ever want to have a closing where someone is even the least bit dissatisfied. And I'm like, I'm going to walk out of here with a check because you didn't like the way things went. Every closing since day one was, if you're not comfortable, we're not doing it. And we'll find a way. We'll get an attorney involved. We'll stretch it out another week. We'll hold something in escrow. We'll negotiate a credit. Like there are opportunities to make it right so that someone will be ready. And it's never going to be 100%, but there are just opportunities where people are like, I don't want to do this. Be like, if you don't want to do it, here are our options. Now, again, you just having cold feet, it's not a great option because we've taken it kind of far and I know you're nervous. I've been there too. But let's figure out, like, do you want this house? And it's like every time they're like, of course I want this house.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Let's work through it.
What do you want to do? What would make you feel good? I can't guarantee it's going to happen, but I'll present any option that makes you feel good. And let's see if we can get it done. And like literally 99 times out of 100, you get it done in a way that works for the buyer and it works for the seller, or it works for the tenant and it works for the landlord. And then you have closing, and then the people move in on their lease. And that is what it's all about.
And they might not be 100% satisfied, but they're at a much better place.
Much better. It's never going to be 100%.
Yeah.
You can't please people 100%. And even remember we did the episode on reviews? And what did you say? You're like, bad reviews aren't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Because it happens. I had someone crap on me on Facebook once because of the way I answered the phone. They just didn't like it for whatever reason. Didn't matter. And that was, one of a handful of bad reviews I've received in 15 years.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
They're going to happen.
You can't please everyone. You can't be all things to all people.
Yeah.
But what you can be is you can be yourself. Like you can be focused on the way you want to run your business and your life. And you can do things the right way. And when you do, it's very easy to go to sleep at night. And it's very easy to wake up in the morning because you're like, I'm ready to go. You got 3 kids climbing on you. I got 1. So maybe your mornings are a little bit rougher than mine.
They're a little different.
And I'm sure your nights are definitely rougher.
4:00 last night, this morning was a little different. Yeah.
Who was upset? All of them or one of them?
This one. This one. Well, it's a domino effect. Because
Right. Someone yells, the other 2 wake up. Dear Lord. All right, you got anything else before we close it out?
No, I think it was great to have Bob on.
It was.
It kind of put some meat behind some of the thoughts and theories that we've talked about on the show previously. And just see it from a different angle. And a real pro, a sales pro.
It's like, guy's a genius.
It's been in the trenches and, seen it all.
A lot of good energy.
And so to have like our thoughts about how we run our businesses and to have a guy come in who we look up to, like read his books, listen to his stuff and kind of agree or kind of tell us like, yeah, this is the way you should be doing it.
Yeah.
It kind of reiterates that. And it just, makes me think, oh yeah, we're on to something here.
Dude, so real quick, right before we started talking to Bob, remember we were looking at his background, there's like 1,000 books.
Yeah.
And then Bob sits down, we're like, yo, Bob, are those books real? And he's like, they're real and they're spectacular. I'm like, oh, he's a Seinfeld fan, which is going to allow me, I'm usually the namer of the episodes. That's my role in this podcast.
Yeah.
I think we're going to call this episode an episode about nothing, but even nothing is something. So if you're a Seinfeld fan, you'll get that one.
That's true.
So that's all we have for this one, folks. Thank you for tuning in again to another episode of Bricks and Risk. See you soon. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Bricks and Risk. Our goal is that you walk away with 1 or 2 valuable nuggets, and we greatly appreciate you sharing your time with us today. You can find all B&R episodes on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcast content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.